What's up, investors? You're watching MJF Invest. I'm Mike. First and foremost, please tap that like button. This is a live stream, but you'll be able to watch this video whether you watch it live or whether you watch it later. We're going to dive into the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, why I'm so bullish on this project. We're going to cover a lot. I'm going to talk about what Polkadot is, how it works, what it's aiming to do, and why it makes me so bullish on the cryptocurrency space as a whole. But again, before I get into it, please tap that like button. That kind of stuff is very important for traffic on the channel's interaction. So to support this channel in any way, you tap that like button and drop a comment down below and tell me what you thought of the video, what you think of Polkadot, and if you own any of the Polkadot tokens, I would love to talk about it. So drop a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and turn the bell notification on. A couple of things. First, I want to discuss what a DAO is. DAO is a decentralized, autonomous organization. And we're going to talk about, hold on, I'm going to pull this up. Because I learn better with visuals always. So we're going to say, what is a DAO? A DAO is a decentralized, autonomous organization. It is an entity with no central leadership. Decisions get made from the bottom up, governed by a community organized around a specific set of rules enforced on a blockchain. A DAO works without hierarchical management and can have a large number of purposes. So it's a decentralized, autonomous organization, token holders. And what is Polkadot, right? Polkadot is a heterogeneous blockchain. It is a blockchain that is flexible enough to communicate with the other blockchains. And that's a big problem in this space. If you notice, a lot of these chains are not interoperable. They don't really, you have to wrap tokens to get them on other networks and cross bridges, and there's a process because it's so early in the space. But with Polkadot in Web3, with this type of infrastructure, it's kind of like a layer 0, right? Smart contract platforms we would consider a layer 1. And what is a smart contract platform, or what is a blockchain? It is it's basically just a database where information gets stored. So why is that important? Is because the ecosystems that these networks are building, they don't function everywhere else, right? Like Ethereum assets on Ethereum, Bitcoin assets on Bitcoin on Bitcoin. It's you can't really move it around. Doesn't interoperate, doesn't communicate. It makes it kind of difficult. And I believe that this is like the early days of the internet, right? Like when DARPA, was like a government thing and very few people had it. Or basically the early days of dial-up internet, where you basically just were able to communicate with those within a certain vicinity. They were inside of your network, right? And now Wi-Fi came along and it became, made just everything a little more seamless. It's kind of the same analogy. We're early on in the blockchain space, cryptocurrency space. Ethereum is facing some congestion issues. ETH 2.0 is trying to launch or get to the merge, but that's it's still early, right? It's a difficult process. But so here comes Polkadot. It's a layer 0 heterogeneous blockchain built with a programming language called Substrate by this man, Gavin Wood. A little background on Gavin Wood. Gavin Wood is one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He had left the project a few years back to start Polkadot. Relevance of this is Gavin Wood is the creator of the Ethereum programming language called Solidity. He's the actual creator of the language, which has turned out to be pretty revolutionary, right? And I know it has its critics and stuff, but it's just pretty amazing, right? Considering what Ethereum has done with that language. And Gavin Wood wrote that language, right? So this is a smart guy. This is a guy who's been around for a long time. what I really liked about this as well is the fact that he knew where the issues were with where Ethereum was headed, and he kept that in mind when he was building Polkadot. Okay, so he built a new language called Substrate, which is essentially a template, which makes it very easy for developers to code blockchains. It's almost like a drop and click for blockchains, right? You need to have basic knowledge, right? You need to be a developer, but this programming language really simplifies and accelerates how quickly you can get a blockchain out there. So what type of innovation can be done with this is pretty amazing when you think about it conceptually. What can be done in the future? Already what's going on now is exciting. It's fascinating. It's in my opinion, and I don't want to keep throwing this word around, but it is revolutionary breakthroughs in technology. And Substrate is very easy, very flexible to use because it is what allows Polkadot to interoperate with some of these other blockchains. And allows it to be heterogeneous and flexible, and that's why I call it a layer 0, right? Like Ethereum is a layer 1, Solana is a layer 1. They're smart contract platforms. Bitcoin is even a layer 1. Terra is a layer 1. Avalanche a layer 1. A lot of these layer 1 blockchains, but Polkadot underneath all of that, kind of interconnecting it. And I'm going to pull a diagram up. Matter of fact, I should just pull it up now. This is kind of what it would look like, okay? So Polkadot would have a relay chain, one chain that would be Polkadot, right? And on the outside would be these parachains. And why this is significant is because the parachains operate as independent chains doing their own thing, right? So they operate as separate, DAOs or whatever function their blockchain does, but they communicate. And they let all the blocks, all the other parachains can communicate every time a new block is minted. So let's call it every 6 seconds, I believe, a new block is minted on the Polkadot chain or the Polkadot protocol. So every 6 seconds, all the information that happens around all these parachains, they let the other chains know. So that allows them to transact very quickly and very efficiently. Which is, again, why I'm so excited about this, because it's really infrastructure that not only makes Polkadot an interesting project on its own, but how it enhances the rest of the space. So that's why I'm so excited about this. I love Ethereum. I really do. But as a user, I've really grown to love Ethereum using it, which I think most people will experience as they use the product. They'll really see and enjoy what they're doing. But Polkadot, on the other hand, is more or less like, a conceptual idea, the ideology of what can be done with this. Why this is relevant, so many ways, right? Polkadot uses a canary chain on its network called Kusama, the Kusama parachain, okay? And it's basically the innovation platform for Polkadot. They want things to move fairly quickly, take some chances. Like that's where the innovation is going to take place. So Kusama has built quite a bit of a community around it. Really exciting stuff, right? Here's Gavin Wood's Medium page. He had wrote this article on June 8th. If you're involved in this project, I highly suggest that you get a Medium account, follow Gavin Wood, follow him on Twitter. We'll listen to a bunch of his lectures online. Very smart guy. His vision for the crypto space and the world in general is certainly a world that I want to live in, right? Like it's a world that I think we should be working towards. And it's so powerful. It's such a powerful project on that end. Plus, I think I can make a lot of money with it, but this is not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. This is a case that I'm really in this for the tech, and the money I think is secondary. First and foremost, I do own this token as well. And I am a nominator on this network. So I am nominating a validator with my coins and earning dot rewards using Polkadot.js. Again, we talk about that a lot, compounding interest. And just in the short period of time that I've been doing that, I see the power in it. It is pretty incredible, and that's why I think DeFi is so revolutionary and amazing, and why it's so important that we protect this space, right? So the first real-world functional parachain state mine began processing permissionless transactions after on-chain upgrade last week. After some smooth running over the weekend, the time is coming to move to the next stage. Slot auctions. Here's our recommendation for how parachain auctions should be rolled out in the coming weeks. That's back in June. Why is this relevant? Here we are on August 30th. Kusama's first batch of parachains in an interview with the teams. Here's the projects for the first parachains on the Kusama network. Again, Kusama is the canary network of Polkadot. Eventually, all of these projects will be on the Polkadot network. What would be interesting, too, is what I heard a couple of people bring up. A really interesting idea would be if the community, and this is the beauty of DAOs and the governance, is that it started that way, right? The relationship between Polkadot and Kusama started as, or is Polkadot, and then it's kind of like little brother. But the network now has grown, and the ecosystem has grown on Kusama. And with their governance, they could at some point vote to become a Polkadot parachain, right? So that's the power in this, right? The governance end and the ability to have a say in what happens, right? And I imagine a world where maybe one day, maybe a government is a DAO, maybe your municipality is a DAO, and you have a say in voting and governance in every issue, no matter how big or small, and it could be done very simply and easily via blockchain technology. So, again, very exciting stuff. Kusama has, so the parachain launching. They did their first lot. Why is another reason that is relevant is because if you take a look here, just recently Polkadot had tweeted out that 2 things need to happen for Polkadot's parachains to launch. Right? They tweeted this out on May 17th. One, they needed a full external audit. Once that's completed, based on who's the team and the developers and what they're doing with the Web3 Foundation and Parity Technologies, you guys should look into that as well. What Gavin Wood did, I'm fairly confident that they won't run into any issues with audits, right? Gavin Wood is he's a doctor, computer scientist, like a mad scientist, in a lot of ways. So, but number 2 here, the Kusama executes at least one successful auction involving crowd loans and hosting at least one functional parachain. So that's basically where we're at. We're approaching the Polkadot mainnet, and that's very exciting for the entire space. And when I start to speculate, and again, this is not financial advice, total speculation. I'm not a financial advisor, but Bitcoin approaching all-time highs, Ethereum approaching all-time highs, Cardano breaking all-time highs, right? If Polkadot launches their mainnet simultaneously with Ethereum or Bitcoin all-time highs, I mean, this can go parabolic, like literally parabolic. It's extremely undervalued. Just briefly, let me give you some numbers. Ethereum is a $400 billion market cap. Polkadot's in at like a 30. That's less than 10%. I could easily see Polkadot accumulating about 20 to 25% of the Ethereum market cap, which I believe will be something like $5 trillion in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years. So 20%, these are big numbers here. So that's why, again, it's very exciting. We went over the relay chain and the Ethereum bridge, and this is not exclusive to just Ethereum. This could also be Bitcoin will be on here, Terra will be on here, Matic, the whole 9 yards. So very exciting. Again, and if you really grasp how big this is, you would be excited too, right? And I want to talk about a couple of the projects, a couple of the sleepers as well on this ecosystem. And the reason that I want to talk about that is not only because this is like kind of a reinvention of the ICO craze of 2017 in a lot of ways. I feel like it's called Substrate. Yes, that is correct. Substrate is the language, Jeter. If you guys are here, please hit that like button. It's more people watching than likes. So please hit that like button. I really appreciate it. I don't want to lose my train of thought. Let's go back to, I don't want to necessarily FOMO into projects with market trends. I want to try to spot trends before they happen, right? So we saw Solana pump, you know, so you don't want to chase Solana and buy it at an all-time high or while it's crushing all-time highs or up on a 6X, right? You know, Ethereum's pumping, everything's pumping, right? Polkadot, I believe, is with these catalysts will also pump. And it kind of recreates, you know, the ICO thing of 2017. These projects are going to launch, but the beauty of this as well is it kind of weeds out the rug pulls and the BS projects, because these projects need to go through a crowd loan and an auction process to get a parachain slot. So again, just a brilliant setup. So excited. I don't want to be FOMOing into where people are going. I want to go where they're going next, right? And this is what I believe. They're going here next. And I'm just going to go over some of my favorite projects on this blockchain. Some of the things I'm looking at, some of the really low market cap gems. Again, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. But I want you to look at the thought process and the actual, you know, process more than like, oh my God, he talked about this specific token, right? Or that specific token. Because some of these are, like, I'm already up, I think, on 2x on one or two of these. Two of them are not even available yet, but I'm already up on some of these because I've been in them for a little bit. So don't go buy them right now because I said so, but look into it, see if you see value, or use the same theory and logic with tokens that you decide. So the first token I wanted to take a look at was Akala. And this is a DeFi hub of Polkadot, right? It's an all-in-one DeFi platform to help you stake, swap, borrow, lend, the whole nine. Most comparable to something like Aave, okay? Most comparable to something like Aave on Ethereum, right? I'm not saying it's as good as Aave. I'm not saying it's Aave, but Akala is trying to do what Aave pretty much does in a nutshell. Not exactly the same, but similar. To give you an idea what kind of growth they can go through. Go through the white paper, make that assessment. It's cross chain as well. That's the kicker. All the projects on Polkadot are cross chain, heterogeneous asset swaps from Luna to Ethereum to Cardano if they ever get smart contracts going. Bitcoin, whatever. That's the power. So again, not financial advice, not telling you to go out or get involved in Akala, which is not available quite yet. You do have to go through a process to get involved, but it will be available fairly soon. Definitely a project you should take a look at. Another project on the Polkadot blockchain that is extremely excited is the Kilt, KILT. It said that, look already, they hit their crowd loan, has hit their max capacity. Further voting is not possible. So this is the kind of excitement that it's generating. This is basically an identity platform. It allows you to, get in and out of your account seamlessly without, passwords and all this other stuff. And identity on the blockchain is going to be a very big deal. I don't know if it'll be Kilt specifically, but it will have to. An identity platform is needed. This is basically the equivalent to the Civic token, which would be the ERC20 token. There's some other projects that do it, but this would be like the equivalent to that, which is a CVC. I believe this is a way better token. They do some different things, a little bit, no knock on the Civic token. I like that token. I like the idea. Conceptually, they're similar, but I believe, again, Kilt has an advantage because of the interoperability, right? And that's why I'm excited. This is also not available yet. You know, if you're interested, look into it. See how So those are two big ones, right? A couple other ones, some dark horses that I really like. I own this token to be open and honest. The Fowler Network, it's a privacy coin. It's a privacy coin. It has other utilities and functions. Again, I love the interoperability aspect. I've made some bets on cross-chain technology and interoperability and privacy, which I believe is very important. Not just for peer-to-peer transactions either, just in general. And Fowler is able to write privacy smart contracts. So where that could evolve, very big deal. I'm looking at these numbers. That's a $200 million market cap. Not really that big compared to where it could go, where the idea could go. But again, not necessarily telling you to get in at this price. I was fortunate enough to get in a little bit cheaper. But again, using that philosophy, where are they going next? What other blockchains? What do they do? Compare them to, what they're trying to do in their own ecosystem. What are they, their competitor? What are they doing in that ecosystem, right? So something like this could be potentially like Monero, say, right? So I would look at the Monero market cap and see where can I get to, although that's not precise, just to give you a general idea, if you want to value something, right? Also, dark horse, and I'm extremely fascinated with this. Going back to the beginning of the video, we were talking about DAOs. We were talking about governance, people, having a say, and that can go for a company or a corporation, a municipality, a federal government, whatever. A poker club, whatever it is. The idea here for the Sora network is extremely fascinating to me. They're trying to disrupt, I would say. I don't want to say disrupt, but they're trying to mimic a central bank. They're trying to mimic a central bank on the blockchain via a DAO, where the community calls the shots. And the idea, the ideology of this project is amazing. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's extremely ambitious. And I love that, right? I love projects that are trying to make the world better. And that's something to be excited about, right? Excuse me. Excuse me. And and this is going after that. This ecosystem is fascinating because, for that one reason, but a couple of things that they do differently, right? They have an elastic supply that's managed by this token bonding curve, which I find really interesting. Because it won't be dramatically volatile the way other cryptocurrencies are. That's a big knock. That's a reason a lot of big corporations or a lot of governments possibly won't kind of get in right now or build a DAO right now, because you go, well, if I'm tied to the Ethereum token and Ethereum drops 80% every 4 years, how the hell can I do this, right? So it's still so early. So this idea, which I don't know if it's going to work again, but I just love the idea that they're being innovative, that they're trying. They have an elastic supply that's dictated by a token bonding curve. So it trades within a range, right? It won't be too traumatic because the supply is constantly changing. They're burning tokens or adding tokens based on the supply and the trading volume. And that's done via smart contracts. So I know it sounds complicated. So you're like, oh my God, like how many mistakes can happen with that? Well, none can happen because it's on the blockchain and it's immutable, and a smart contract is executing all that. But very, very complicated, fascinating stuff, as well as the fact that they have the Polkadot, which I also own. I love that token. Cross-chain DEX, basically like a 1 inch of all the chains, or Polkadot rather. A lot of dexes are fighting it out on Polkadot, right? PDEX is a good one to look at. There's a whole bunch, but me personally, because I'm a fan of the Soro ecosystem, I own Polkaswap. I do. I own quite a bit of it. Take a look at that. That's PSwap and SORA. Take a look at some of these projects. Also, don't necessarily FOMO into the projects I'm talking about right this second. Let me give you an idea here. If you pull up CoinGecko, right, you see they break it down into categories. So sometimes I mess around to find out about projects. I go into categories and they break it down like smart contract platforms, exchange-based tokens, DeFi, stable coins, right? So everything's very broken up. The Solana ecosystem, Polygon ecosystem, Polkadot ecosystem, right? So I'll click on that. And then, you scroll through. And not all of these projects are native projects to Polkadot, but because Polkadot's interoperability, basically anything can be here. But just when I'm bored, I go through like this, and you take a look. And then you start to put a project on your radar. Right. So, for example, I look here. Oh, look, Polkastarter, $155 million project. It's going to something. Well, this has been pumping lately, but just to give you an example, launch pads, right, are big. They were, they already pumped. So I don't buy that one. I'll use a different example. This one here, this is a great token. I like this token. LIT, and then you look into the project, right? So, use these resources just to put something on your radar, and then you got to dig deep, right? You got to look. A couple of things that I would be looking at when I'm researching these projects, just if there's any newcomers out there, I just want to throw it out there. Again, check the market cap, check the token supply, market cap, token supply, check the team, read the white paper, ask yourself, what is the total addressable market, or what is the problem that they're solving? Make sure you're not jumping into something that's extremely overvalued or something that already pumped, but there's some undervalued stuff here. Acropolis, AKRO, really interesting, 3 cents, $100 million. Here's one right here. I found this one doing this, right? Like just doing this, just scrolling through the ecosystem. I found out, boom, Kylan Network, $50 million. And when I started to research this project in depth, I was incredibly excited. Just recently, I spoke to the founder of the project, Dylan Dudney. He'll be on the channel with me shortly. We're trying to schedule something right now where he can come on, I can interview him, and he can break this project down simply. But basically what Kylan Network is it's Ocean Protocol, the Graph, and Chainlink. If they had a baby, it would be the Kylan Network. I don't know if it's going to succeed, but this is what they're trying to do. And then you have to pretty much make some assumptions and find out, is it going to succeed or not, right? But it's ambitious. And that's the kind of projects that I'm hunting down. Ambitious projects that are going to make the world a better place, right? Because that's basically what this is about for me. So that's basically how I do it. Let's see here. Good afternoon. Hey guys, make sure you guys tap that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Someone asked if I heard of Hex or Richard Hart. Yes, I have. He says a lot of great things. Richard Hart, great things, smart guy. A little bit predatory on new investors, though, I feel like, right? Like he says some really good things. He says some really smart things, but then he also says some really, marketing, moon boy type things. And like the newer investors are just eating that up, right? He's kind of preying on human beings, tribalistic nature, the FOMO aspect, people, we missed out on Bitcoin, but here's Bitcoin, again, but if you could lock Bitcoin up kind of thing. And he's taking advantage of that, the nature that human beings have, that nature of human beings. And I'm not sure if that's great for the space, if that's, whatever, but time will tell. I'll be upfront and honest. I don't own any Hex. I don't see any use for it. I use another tool as a store of value, as a digital store of value. that I think is far superior to Hex, and that's Bitcoin. And that's not to say nothing against the Hex community. What do I think Dot will do next week? I'm not. What do I think Dot will do next week and the rest of September? I anticipate Dot to have a very good September, but that doesn't change how I feel. Even if it bombs in September, long term, I love it. But I anticipate that from now to the rest of the year, Dot will outperform the rest of the crypto market. I think it's very undervalued. Again, Ethereum sitting at a $400 billion valuation. Dot is at a 30 billion. What's that? 8%, 7-8%. I think that number should be a little closer to 20, 25 potentially. So again, it's not. I don't believe Dot is a ETH killer. I believe it is an ETH enhancer. It is a crypto enhancer. Layer ones are amazing. Very excited. If you guys watched the whole video, thank you so much. If anybody else has any questions, I'm more than happy to take them. But if not, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. Fetch. Oh, here we go. Okay, somebody's got. All right, let's keep going. All right, Fetch AI been good to me too. It's low key. Nobody talks about. They got good partners like T-Mobile and Bosch. Great recommendation. I don't own that project. I haven't got to dive really deep into it. I do know what it is. I have read like what is it on Coin Market Cap, but I've never read the white paper. I'm not extremely familiar with the project, but if you're saying you did great with it, something I'll definitely look into. Maybe the audience will like it. But anything AI or robotics related, I'm very bullish on in the future. So, great shout out, great recommendation. Hopefully you continue to make a lot of money, man. Cheers. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is stuff I learned and I love to share it with you. And I'm just passionate about this space, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. This is not a channel that I don't want to necessarily encourage trading, too much trading in and out, especially no margin trading. I don't want to encourage that at all. No margin trading at all. But there's nothing wrong with spotting a trend early, riding the wave up, and making some money doing that. That I believe in. I also believe in. I want to knock the walls of tribalism down within the crypto community. This idea that you have to pick one chain and that's the only chain that works and the rest of it is shit. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I believe the future will be run on DAOs. That's what I believe. And I think that's good for the world. I really do. I think that people should have a say and participate, right? An economy works best when everybody is included. Look around today. Is everybody included? Not really. Not really. Return on investment is way more important than wages to employees. Is that model working for everybody? Is everybody included? Absolutely not. So that's a big problem that I have when Bitcoiners say that everything else is a shitcoin, because DAOs are 10 times better than the current business model or the current relationship that businesses have with investors, the employee, investor, business. The whole relationship needs to change, Very good. Yeah. You're throwing some real gems at me right now. Yes, love VeChain. I do not own any, but I love it. VThor. Yeah, VThor. I thought you said Thorchain. I thought you meant Thorchain, but you're talking about VTHO, right? That's the ticker. Very cheap. Love it. If you guys just got in the live stream, make sure you tap that like button. Somebody just talked about Fetch AI a little bit. We went over Polkadot and Kusama, parachains. If you guys want to watch that video later on, check it out. But right now, we can talk about anything you guys want. Drop a question, a comment. I'll put it up. We can talk about it. Make sure you tap that like button, subscribe for future content. We have VeChain and VeThor, right? VeThor is, I believe, the kind of the gas that you transact with within the VeChain ecosystem. One of the best use cases, right? I'm praising DAOs in this video. I'm praising DAOs basically a lot lately, but supply chain management, because for governance, right, is like the best. Blockchains are the best for governance. That's really the biggest thing: governance and transparency, right? But supply chain management is one of the best utilities for blockchain because it's immutable. And in my opinion, anyway, most major businesses will be running running VeChain. So, that'll be no different to any users. People might look and go, well, what does that mean? It's no different to you. This is all back-end stuff because blockchains are databases. So nothing's really that different to the users, right? And, the tokenization of assets is basically just a crowd loan or crowdfunding. It's a new form of angel investors. I don't know. I don't know why people are so angry about it or don't like it, because today, if a company blows up, the early users don't benefit. The investors benefit, right? Angel investors benefit. The early users of the network will benefit. That's why this is just such a better alternative to today's models. What do I think about ICX? It's rising slowly every day. You know what? I'm not familiar with ICX. I don't. What is it? Let's see. Let me see what it is before I even say that. Not sure what ICX is, but everything else you've said is your other shout outs are all great coins. So I would have to assume that this is right. What is that? ICX. Okay, icon. I'll take a look at it right now. And if I'll write it down. I'll look into it a little deeper later on. That along with Fetch AI, matter of fact. Maybe I will get a little bit deeper into those. One of my favorite things about this whole space is I can get lost in these projects for a long time. So I always appreciate recommendations, especially when it's an interesting and fun project. So ICX and Fetch AI are two that I'll definitely look into a little more. If nobody's got any more questions, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you guys spending your time, watching this video. Extremely bullish on DOT. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter as well, at MJF_invest. Subscribe for future content. Drop a comment. That stuff is so important for this channel. Let me know what tokens you're holding. Wait, somebody has another question. Yeah, XRP is going to moon. Another thing, on a side note, before I go, and this is very important, one recommendation I will make as well. Follow whether you like XRP or not like XRP, you could hate it. Pay attention to the court case, because precedent is being set right now. How, the Ripple case and the investigation against Uniswap that was just opened, although they won't affect the tokens much or the projects much, because, whatever, but pay attention to the standards that are set during these court cases, because that will set the precedent going forward. There's a whole movie on Icon in XRP. It's a document. Oh, wow. Okay, cool, man. I'm going to throw that one up. Let's check that out. I'll check that out. I'll go watch it today. Again, if you guys just got into the live stream, smash that like button. Follow me on Twitter. That's important too. Trying to grow my Twitter base. That's kind of where I put most of my ideas out there quickly too. Like, I talk about a lot of the micro caps that I don't get to talk about on this channel because it just takes more time. Sometimes I'm in it, in and out of a micro cap with a small amount of money, a couple $100. And I would never put too much money in a micro cap like that, but a couple $100 here, $200 there. Nothing too crazy. See if I can 10x it, and then it's good. Now I can make a substantial investment. I do like to flip micro caps like that. So follow me on Twitter at MJF_invest. Make sure you tap that like button. and subscribe for future content. I was getting ready to sign off, but I'll stay on if anybody has questions. I'll do an AMA if if we still want. There's people coming in. There was people coming in as I was getting out, but what's the TV? What's the documentary called about XRP? Sal. Ricardo Sal's. What is that documentary called? So we can give it a shout out. And again, I don't own XRP. It is a good project, I guess, for the future. I haven't done a deep dive on it. I know that some pretty smart people are bullish on it. But pay attention to how that court case is being handled, because standards are being set. They're setting the precedent for going forward for regulation. So it's important as a crypto commentator, crypto trader, just being involved in the space at all. You should know how that case is being handled. To give you an idea of what they're going to do with Uniswap, more than likely it'll be a smack on the wrist and a fine. Side note as well, this is why it's important to pay attention to the tokenomics as well, because if an outside company, a centralized outside company, owns a large sum of tokens and they get hit with a large fine from the SEC, how are they going to generate those funds? They're going to generate those funds by dumping those tokens on the users' heads. So that's another thing. Pay attention to who owns these tokens before you get into these projects as well. Do I think okay, here we go. Do I think ADA and ETH will crash if they get hit with an SEC case? Well, no, I don't, because here's the thing. So ETH itself, there's nothing they can really do, but there is an Ethereum foundation based out of, Switzerland, I believe. So they can go after this, the Switzerland, but what they're going to do is what they're doing. They're going to go after the DEXs, Uniswap. They couldn't do anything much with Uniswap itself, but they went after Uniswap Labs, which is their parent company. Uniswap's claims they've been compliant, but we'll see. A fine is probably imminent and probably a few $100 million. My question would be, where's that money going to come from? Do the founders? I know the founders. I don't want to throw them out by name, but I've talked to the founders on Twitter a couple of times. I don't know if he has that kind of cash sitting around liquid, or if Uniswap Labs will have to sell some tokens. And crypto is still so new that liquidating a couple of $100 million on a small project would definitely have extreme price impact. But I don't know if Uniswap will be able to handle something like that. I don't know. I'm interested to see, but that's why I wanted to throw that out there. If you're involved in this space, pay very close attention to these cases, whether you're a token holder or not, because they will set precedent going forward. Isn't Uni just a DEX for their project? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So to answer your question, I'm not sure. I would like to think that Ethereum I'm going to get to your question in 1 second about SafeMoon. I would like to think that Ethereum has shown resiliency and strength basically the entire time. The network effects, and it's got a community and users behind it. ADA is following a similar path. The community is very passionate. So there may be a sell-off, but I would expect, even with SEC cases, that both of those networks succeed, and after investigations or cases thrive. I fully expect, blockchain and especially Ethereum. Do I like SafeMoon? Do I like SafeMoon? No, I'm not a fan of SafeMoon. No offense if you are. Not for me. It's just not for me. Is Dot trying to copy XRP with their project? How so? Why do you think that? I don't see that. And again, I am not a XRP expert, so I don't really know how that blockchain functions necessarily, like down to a science. But I don't see that. Yeah, I think SafeMoon that's what I didn't want to, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. As communities can make a meme token strong. I'm just weary of these kind of projects. That's all. And I don't want to slander anybody or say this or that. But I do have an opinion, something along these lines. But it's just my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. Could be a great project. But I believe that something else. I believe it's basically a copy and paste of another project that was around in 2017. If you look into that, the code on GitHub, I believe it's literally like this, like it's a project that was being worked on before. So check how that project was doing, the original project, or what happened to that one. That's kind of the feeling I get with SafeMoon. PNT, do I like that token? I'm not, and again, now this is an incredibly nuanced space. And when I get into a project like I really do, I really get into it. So I'm not familiar with every project, but the projects that I am familiar with, I do feel good enough to talk about, and I'll chop it up and I can answer questions and all that. But I don't know everything about all the projects. That's the thing. Payments with and tracing with other blockchains. PS. Beta. Yeah, we covered. Yeah. I mean, I think I was on air for maybe 20 or 30 minutes before you came on the live stream. We talked quite a bit. What Dot is trying to do, and I'm not sure now if that is part of it, if interacting, cross-border or cross-border payments, Dot is cross-blockchain payments. It could end up being cross-border. Could happen, but really what they're focused on is being a heterogeneous chain and being flexible. They use a model like this. It's a relay chain with parachains. Okay, and every time now the parachains, which there is a limited amount, maybe 100, I think Gavin would say 100. So there's a relay chain with 100 parachains. Okay. Now they're also bridged to other layer 1 blockchains. So Ethereum, Cardano, name it. There's also a bridge. So really it's like a layer 0, right? So there's a relay chain with parachains and bridges to all the other blockchains. And it makes them interoperable, right? It's heterogeneous, it's flexible, uses substrate language, which is also very developer friendly. So I anticipate lots of innovation on Polkadot via the Kusama, network, which is their canary chain. It's in beta. Yeah, I talked about all that earlier. It's not, the mainnet's not live because here, look, let's check this out. Let's add this to the stream. If you guys just got in the live stream, make sure you tap that like button. Check this out. Let's go to here. This is when Polkadot's going to go live. This is when they're at a beta. Is when there's a full external audit is completed. I believe Gavin Wood's one of the best computer scientists of all time, created, Solidity, co-founder of Ethereum, Polkadot, Substrate. I mean, guy knows what he's talking about. I would imagine that the audit won't be an issue. And once Kusama, which is their canary chain, which is basically their launch pad, right? This is where they want people to experiment on Kusama, is once Kusama executes at least one successful auction involving crowd loans and hosting at least one functional parachain, Polkadot can launch. We're getting there. Look, first batch of parachains, August 30th. So we're getting there. So that's why it's just my thesis. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that I know what I'm talking about. everybody's FOMO in NFTs, and I like NFTs as much as the next guy, and I like this as much as the next guy. But my big trade right now is Polkadot. It hasn't pumped yet. It's undervalued in my opinion, but again, I'm not a financial advisor. And I'm just excited about the project because of the interoperability that it brings, not only for itself, but for other blockchains. Oh, no problem, man. Make sure you tap that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And if anybody just got into the live stream, follow me on Twitter. Again, that's where I'm do most of my interacting on there, especially like smaller projects. The bigger stuff that takes time, then I can make a video about it. But sometimes, a lot of stuff just goes through the cracks. So it's important to follow me on Twitter. Very, very active on there. And does anybody else have any more questions, any topics that they want to talk about? To again soon. Yes, I believe this too. And this is the way I thought about it. Okay, if Ethereum's sitting at a $400 million market cap, right? DOT is sitting at a $30 million market cap. That's about 8 or 9%, of the Ethereum market cap. So I believe that number should be on launch of mainnet, right? And again, just the ability to have cross-chain liquidity, it helps Ethereum, right? And Ethereum's market cap is going to grow exponentially, over the next 5-10 years anyway. And I anticipate, DOT to have somewhat 20 to 25% of the market cap of Ethereum. So we're looking at a pretty big numbers, with my investment thesis. But again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I believe this project is very undervalued. I believe DOT and Matic are going to pump for the rest of the year. Those are two that I'm bullish on, at least short-term. Matic, long-term DOT. Next to Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOT are my three favorite projects long-term, like through 10 years from now. A lot of it is speculation as well, right? And a lot of it is I love what they're trying to do. And there is some like I'm in it for the tech kind of thing. So I just want to support this project as well. I know that, they're very ambitious, right? They're going for it. And in that, there's probably going to be bumps in the road. There's probably going to be hiccups. There's probably going to be side steps. There's probably going to be missteps. But overall, I believe in this project wholeheartedly. Bitcoin, honestly, Polkadot might be even number 2 to me. Let's see. What do I think of HBAR? I'm not familiar with HBAR. I'm not familiar with that project. Thanks for the info. See you. Have a nice day. I like this guy. Oh, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Let's see. What is HBAR? That I'm not sure of. If you guys just got into the live stream, make sure you tap that like button and subscribe for future content. I'm going to be covering a lot of the different projects on the Polkadot ecosystem. I feel like a lot of new people are in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this again. Let's just look at some of the projects on the Polkadot ecosystem, right? 2017, the ICO craze, okay? Things were flying everywhere, right? But there was a lot of rug pulls and a lot of scams. Polkadot avoids this because they go through a parachain auction. So there's a crowd loan. So the user and users can get rich here too, by the way. Moon River just made millionaires last week, launching on, doing the Kasama parachain launch. So I don't think that these should be overlooked. Very, very bullish on, extremely bullish on this project right here, the Akala network. Akala is basically an all-in-one DeFi platform to help you stake, swap, borrow, lend, and earn, and more, all with micro gas fees and cross-chain liquidity. Basically trying to do what Aave does, right? We're going to go back over Kilt. Kilt is based the identity. It's the identity on the blockchain, and that's this is big, man. This is really big, and I'm very excited about this project. And projects within the ecosystem. Once again, we don't want to go where people are now. We want to go where they're going. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this one up right about an hour. I wanted to go a half hour, but we started talking at the end. Thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Are you bullish on Kusama and Polkadot? As bullish as I am. Web3, DeFi. Imagine NFTs. Imagine your Bored Ape on Solana or Polkadot or Ethereum, or your CryptoPunk, rather. Imagine your CryptoPunk on Solana or Cardano or Polkadot. We can do it now. We can do that. And the innovation that it's going to breed is very exciting. It's that simple. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.